Close. Try using a similar tool. Those aren't him. Those aren't him. Those aren't him.
Oh, yeah. I was expecting you. About Ray, right?
We're sorry for your loss. Why were you expecting us?
Oh, well, yeah. Todd? Knew him since he was a baby. Anyway, he called and gave me chapter and verse, but this is not a cool time. I've been drowning my sorrows in booze and blackjack with a black coffee antidote that didn't take. I got more witnesses than those Jehovah cats. If I wrote that little bitch a note, it'd be 2 words long. The second would be you, and you can deduce the first, Columbo. Ugh, next question. I don't know. Why?
We have reason to suspect foul play in the deaths of your ex-husband and the other victims.
Really? You have reason to suspect? And you're wasting your time and mine talking to me. Hey, here's a wild hair of a suggestion. Why don't you go out and find the killer?
You must have been pretty upset when you heard about your ex-husband sleeping with a girl half your age. Who told you about them? Todd?
I don't remember who told me because it just wasn't that important to me. Who he swaps venereal diseases with nowadays, I could care less. I won't lie and say I'm shedding any tears over that selfish dickweed's death. Hey, I dumped him, by the way. Ancient history.
Must have been a real slap in the face when Bullet Train made a literal show out of finding a new lead singer. I mean, your voice was on every one of their hits. Then they make a comeback without you? You missed the train.
You haven't followed the little train that couldn't, have you? Since I booked, the 3 of them can't make a sandwich together without being arrested. Huh. Which theme park will they appear at next? Oh, the suspense is killing me.
I understand your bitterness. You know, I saw you with the train back in '89. You weren't just the heart and soul of the act. You were the act.
Well, you're a man of rare taste and fine frickin' distinction. You ever been down here at the casino to see what I'm up to post-train? Room's a sellout, night after night, and I am rocking the roof off the joint.
Listen, I know you said no autographs, but I really am a big fan. It's Ward Brown. 2 R's and a K.
Blue eyes, you had me at Crime Lab. Whisper in my ear and I'll get you a backstage pass, too.
Just the autograph. Thanks. You have no idea what this means to me.
Eddie is a disgusting, slimy, backstabbing, self-centered, greedy scumbag. I guess he'd fit right in. Man, just thinking about it makes me lose my appetite. Listen, my head's killing me.
Somehow I don't think she was taking dictation when she wrote this threat. The blood at the crime scene belonged to a fabulous flashback. Nice job, partner. I'm sure Grissom will want to know about this latest development.
If it has anything to do with our quadruple homicide, I do.
Grissom, hey, my partner just placed the former Bullet Train singer at the crime scene. Her DNA was found on a makeshift coke straw found in the auditorium.
That's probably enough to bring drug charges against her, but it doesn't mean she put an early end to her former band's career.
No, but get this. We found a threatening handwritten note to Andrea Stevenson in her hotel room. Guess who composed it?
I don't have to. I can name that tune in one note. Let's bring in Miss Wilde and get her side of the story.
Evidence linking her to the crime scene, threatening letter from her to one of the Vics. Let's arrange a gig for her in the interview room and see if she'll sing for us.
What? A stage where I wasn't wanted? Where I was being replaced? Hell no. Why the hell would I?
Ever suffer from nosebleeds?
I don't know what you're getting at.
Evidence at the crime scene put you there. Possibly thanks to a certain expensive habit you have. Any comment?
No comment at all, because I have no idea what you're talking about. I do know I was never there, and you know why? Because I didn't want anything to do with those sons of bitches.
So you're saying you never party with those guys anymore? For old time's sake?
Yeah, sure. I get real nostalgic about those has-been jackasses. Always great to get high with a bunch of bring-downs. Hey, I grew up a long time ago. You want to find yourself a party girl? Look no farther than Miss Kathy Butterwood Melt.
A handwriting analysis confirms you wrote this note found in Andrea's hotel suite.
You manipulative, lying bastards. Now I know what my autograph means to you. I don't have to talk to you people.
Come on, take us behind the music.
Look, I did write that note for Andrea, but it's not what you think. And that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Miss Wilde, we notice you have some sort of residue on the strap of your dress.
Okay. I got a rough schedule. Multiple shows night after night. Once in a while, I might need a little help before a gig. Understand? Bust me? What good does it do anybody?
We're gonna have to take a sample. It'll just take a second.
Make it quick, would ya? And Blue Eyes? You can forget about that backstage pass. I told you what I know.
This matches the chemicals found on Andrea's clothing. Same fire retardant found on the switch inside the echo pedal. Now how does this fit in?
Yes, I am. And you would be?
Warwick Brown, and this is my partner. We're investigators with the Las Vegas Crime Lab, and we're looking into the bullet train fatalities.
Does the crime lab usually look into accidental deaths? Or is it just because this involves celebrities and was a tad on the bizarre side?
Bizarre, all right, but no accident. This was murder, and we need to talk to you about it.
Murder? My God, my band is murdered and no one even informs me? Here I've been all day working on a press release about the accident, and I have to start the hell over, like my time isn't worth a diddly damn. God. Are you kidding me? Do you know a single damn thing about Bullet Train? They were the original bad boys who grew up to be horrible boys. Enemies? Try every concert promoter and hotel manager in Western Europe, Japan, and the good old US of A. Then there's Australia. Those scamps managed to get themselves deported 2 weeks into a 3-month tour. Andrea? Not really. She knew how to handle the boys. And you know how those contestants are, going out of their way to make everybody like them. Todd. Oh yeah, he's the original nebbish. It's true. The guy was the band's doormat. They banished him from the bus for some imagined infraction. And the poor jerk had to hitchhike 40 miles to the next gig, and yet he still showed on time. Dirty, starving, and exhausted, but right there for the guys. Oh, by the way, you know how they repaid him for his loyalty? They let him ride in the bus on the next leg in the luggage compartment. And how did he stand up to him? He didn't. He worshiped those clowns. Hey, I don't mind you investigating this thing, accident or murder or whatever the hell you want to call it, but you stay out of my business. I don't know who's talking out of turn, but, well, look, it's true. We had our share of bumps, the boys and me, okay? But they're poster children of spoiled, stupid rock stars. When I took them on, they were playing nostalgia venues, and now I had them poised for a real comeback. They try to stick it to me? But I've been in this business a long time, and I knew what I was getting into. They didn't appreciate what I did for them, but I didn't expect them to. Yeah, right. Let me tell you something, guys. The train fired me last week, twice, and at least once a week since I signed with them. They were dumb, but they knew I was their lifeline. Look, but don't touch. I'm standing in the eye of a meteor hurricane, and I don't need the grief. You want more? I want a warrant.
We'll need a warrant to take this. This memo is from the network, stated 1 month ago. They warn that continued decline in the show's ratings have caused concern and that any future projects between the network and Eddie's production company have been put on hold pending the outcome of the show's finale. They outline some changes they want, including fixing the results so that Andrea will win the competition. Looks like Eddie was under some pressure from the TV execs.
Where did you get that stupid idea? Oh, oh yeah, that ridiculous memo. Come on, man, you know the entertainment media, all the news that's fit to invent. Look, I couldn't fix the contest even if I wanted to, and neither could the band. It's the public who votes and the public who buys the CDs, baby. Supply and demand, and I'll supply whatever junk the idiots demand.
Demos. Possibly the songs the band and their manager was squabbling over. Kathy seems to be the only singer on these tracks. Splitting the profits 2 ways is better than 5.
So you think I staged the band's comeback to bump them off? Come on, man. Do they have you guys take urine tests at CSI? Because you are definitely high. Good, because I didn't do anything.
Still, you must admit that with the band gone, any dispute over the ownership of the songs becomes moot.
The dispute is not moot. It's over. See, the contract the band signed always spells it out. And Bullet Train will be easier to handle dead, frankly.
As a music fan, I'm sorry there won't be any more Bullet Train sides. Under your management, they came into their own musically. No Free Rides is way better than any of their 80s stuff.
Oh, thanks, man. I know I must sound pretty cold. You know, the boys did have talent, or I wouldn't have put up with all the... Anyway, I appreciate the kind words. Too bad our last label didn't agree with you.
Hey, could I snag one of those demo CDs? I'm a big fan.
Yeah, sure, why not? I'll be leaking some of the tracks onto the internet soon anyway, and then getting mad and acting like somebody else leaked it.
You'll want a different tool for that. Close. Try using a similar tool.
I don't have any more info.
Rise and shine in the county slammer. Could be Texas or maybe Alabama. I'm at the end of the bottle. I shot too many, I shot too many. I'm down on my luck and I ain't got a penny. I shot too many. And when I'm back on the streets, I'll just do it again and again. I shot too many, I shot too many, I shot too many, I shot too many.
Those aren't a map. Those aren't a map. Those aren't a... 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 Those aren't. Those aren't a map. Now, why would Eddie be personally checking the band's equipment?
Show's in big trouble, then suddenly it's all over the media with ratings bound to jump, thanks to a few homicides. Band had been threatening to fire him, plus we got his prints on the echo pedal, aka the murder weapon. Take a stroll around that studio, why don't you, and see if you can come away with any catchy tunes.
Eddie, we're ready to look and touch. Here's your warrant.
Do what you have to do and get out of here. You break it, you bought it.
It's a letter from a private jet charter. A fire extinguisher had been discharged on the aircraft, and they're issuing a fine of $13.60 to Eddie's production company. Looks like a file was downloaded from an audio website, then encrypted. We can recover it in the lab.
You break it, you bought it.
Might belong to a power cord.
Wasn't from me, that's for sure. You know how many musicians and engineers come through here? It could have been any one of them.
Yeah, well, this ain't in my contract. Distinctly, back off, creep.
Cut me a break, guys. Eddie says he wants some behind-the-scenes stuff. You know, DVD extras.
Well, here's something extra for you, Toady. And Eddie, too. There won't be any DVD unless Bullet Train releases it. Not after I get through suing Tillis' greedy lion ass. Oh, Todd, don't mope. Tell you what, stick around. When your little girlfriend shows up, you can shoot some amateur porn while me and the boys pass her around.
You know, you shouldn't talk about people like that. You guys you're evil.
Those aren't a match. Seems to be the schematics for an echo pedal like the rigged one at the crime scene, which you'll recall had Eddie's fingerprints on it. Those aren't a match. 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 Those aren't. Those aren't a match. Those aren't a match. This prong was probably torn from the power cord using a pair of pliers or a similar tool.
I hear you have a new lead on the Rockstar murders.
Eddie, the band's manager. He's got motive and opportunity. I imagine he stands to make more money off of Bullet Train CD sales now that the band is dead.
I imagine you can back that up with evidence?
Well, we know that Eddie was under pressure from the TV execs to fix the contest so that Andrea would win. We have his fingerprints on the echo pedal that was essentially the murder weapon. His computer contained detailed schematics for the altered echo pedal, and the ground prong that was found in his recording studio caused the electrocution.
Nice work. The evidence tells a good story. Are you on your way to see Brass for a warrant?
Yeah. Time to get Eddie in our own recording booth and see where he fits into the mix.
Eddie had the schematics of the echo pedal, which he thoughtfully left his prints on, and now evidence indicates he fooled with the power cords. Let's get the manager-producer over here and see if he can manage to produce an explanation. Before we start, mind if I call you Eddie?
Yes, I do mind.
We need you to help us through a few snags we've run into.
If you know, tell me, 'cause I don't.
That pedal was altered for a shocking reason, and the schematics we found on the computer in your studio would have been very helpful to whoever did it.
Yeah, right. Look, I'm sure this is all very interesting. And when you work it all out, be sure to leave a message on my machine. I have a business to run and to promote, and the entertainment news people happen to be waiting for me at my studio right now.
We're interested in some news too. As in how that doctored pedal changed the current on Andrea's mic. In your studio, we found this prong that was pried off the power cord on Andrea's mic. Without that prong, the power cord couldn't ground the current, and Andrea and the band took the full jolt.
Right, a tragedy. And you obviously know more about it than I do, than I care to, really. Our tech Todd's there time to time, does some AV work at the studio. The band, of course. Kathy and Andrea both recorded there.
Let's see if this melody is familiar. Your show's in the dumper, network's threatening to pull it from the schedule and toss you in the circular file, should the finale tank. The train's threatening to sue you over their best tracks in years, possible CD or two, DVD action, and you decide dying would be a good career move for these ungrateful, overage bad boys. You latch onto that echo pedal and its power cord, download some schematics, and soon you've created some very real buzz for Bullet Train.
Whoa, guys, look, back off, okay? Think, just think for a minute. Bullet Train, those guys were a pain in the ass, but what rock group isn't? They were laying down great sides, and if the TV ratings weren't high enough for the execs, we were still playing to a way bigger audience than the band had seen in years. Why would I want to wreck that train? I can't explain how that stuff got in my studio, but I do remember the morning of rehearsal, Todd came by the studio. The stage set had been trashed in the night, and I was so furious. I was so upset I ran over there to check out the damage. I must have touched that pedal then.
He's on his way to interrogation now.
Well, sure, I mean, they picked on me, but it was always in fun. They know I work hard for them, and they're still just kids at heart, just encouraging me to lighten up about things. They never meant any harm by it.
She's on her way to interrogation.
You know what song?
Fine, Ms. Wilde. For now, I'll take a solo. Your ex-husband's on national TV, seeking a younger, sleeker you. Finds one in Andrea Stevenson. You send a note to scare her off, but figuring that won't work, you show up with a fire extinguisher to dampen their hunka-hunka burning love. Afterward, you decide you've had it, so you break into the studio and steal Andrea's echo pedal. You open the pedal, improvise a few revisions, and put it back. The evidence ties you to the scene. Chemical residue connects you with the murder weapon. You wrote a threatening note to one of the victims, providing plenty of motive to ensure your farewell tour starts and ends on death row.
Listen, I get that this looks really, really bad, but you're reading it wrong. Yeah, I wrote that note all right, but I wasn't trying to warn her off Ray. I was trying to get her to leave poor Todd alone. That overgrown kid had been bitching about Andrea to me for weeks, figuring I'd be a sympathetic ear. I mean, Todd was crazy about Andrea from the start, but she thought he was a creep and told him so. And then, after she became a finalist, all of a sudden they're an item? I mean, Todd was close to the band. I figured the bitch had to be using him. Okay, I'm gonna be straight with you guys, even though I might be looking at a drug bust. But murder, that's not me. Yeah, I was there. I'd been drinking, I was high, and I couldn't stop thinking how Todd was getting the short end from that slut Andrea. So I went to the Jet to see him, to reason with the poor jerk.
Jet? Don't you mean Set?
No. They practically lived in that private jet of theirs. That Eddie character, he couldn't put the band up in hotels anymore, not with their track record of trashing the joints. Don't be too impressed. It's a rental. Talk to Eddie about it. Well, Todd normally crashes there, only when I showed up, Todd had split. Well, Ray and me, we got to talking, and hey, you know how it is. Sometimes old flames rekindle. He reminded me real quick what a self-centered ass he is. We were in each other's arms one minute. Next, I'm tossed off the jet like some damn groupie. I was beyond pissed off. I hauled it right over to that studio and I started tearing that crap apart. I probably lost that straw then. Last straw, right? Huh.
The residue we found on your dress was flame retardant. Any idea where it came from?
Not the slightest. Rest of the night, like I said before, I was around the casino. Didn't shower or change or anything. Maybe that retarded stuff was on the jet. Hey, listen, can you give me a pass on the drug thing? This gets out in the papers. I'll lose my lounge gig.
We'll see how your story checks out. We do appreciate your help, and this isn't a Vice investigation. But, don't go on tour, Ms. Wilde. Only local appearances, okay? He's on his way to interrogate.
I'm pretty sure
He's on his way to...
Probably that psycho bitch Jill Wilde. Not that I can prove it. I mean, you know she's Ray's ex-ball and chain, right? And she was bent out of shape. The band taking on a new lead singer in such a public way. Take it up for a spin if it'll get this over with.
Could Todd Hinckley have known that Andrea was hooking up with the band?
Sure, but what could he do about it? I think he had Andrea all built up in his mind and was probably, disappointed that the object of his affection was pulling the train. That's kind of harsh, isn't it? Obsessed? Todd? Oh, he's harmless. Yeah, sure, he dug her, but he's a roadie with a crush on a lead singer. He couldn't get closer to her than the soundboard. I mean, seriously. Is that a bad thing? Band's got a bond, and, you know, if a band is mostly guys, a girl's gotta find a way to fit in. So what?
Well, maybe you and Andrea weren't just competing on stage, but backstage. And in hotel rooms. If she was getting too friendly with the boys, maybe you wanted to kick her out of the band before she got in.
No. It wasn't like that. Okay, so we all partied, but we partied together. One big happy family. And anyway, no matter how tight either of us got with the boys, it's the TV viewers who vote and decide on the new singer.
Did you know that the TV studio wanted to fix the contest so that Andrea won?
What? You have to be kidding me. Those low-life bastards. I'll sue them. I'll sue their asses. I can sue them, right?
I'm hired to enforce the law, not interpret it. That's for a lawyer. Maybe Eddie can hook you up with his, since the two of you have been working to ditch the band and profit from the TV show recordings.
You've got me all wrong. All I ever wanted, ever dreamed of, was singing with Bullet Train. Not just any band, but the Train. I've loved that band since I was a kid, and I wouldn't risk blowing my big chance.
So why do all the demo CDs at his studio have only your vocal tracks on them?
How would I know? Maybe there's a CD of Andrea, too. Maybe Eddie was making sure he'd have a CD ready after I won. Or, yeah, if she did.
There's no evidence of an Andrea-only CD, and you seem real sure you'd be the winner. Why?
I believe if you work hard and keep the faith and trust in yourself, you will win. It's all about self-confidence. Sure, anything can happen, but go back and see who's racked up the fan votes. I'd like to help.
Damn. Let's get to work. We don't have permission to search this. Yet.